we hardly had some bikes in our channel, but like if I'm bringing some bike, it should be something, right? And today we have one of a kind, which is Harley Davidson Iron 883. Let us discuss something about this bike. Welcome back to this garage. Welcome to this garage. How it feels when you ride a 883cc. The engine feels very raw. Before talking about the engine, let's see the design. So in the front part, we do have a small headlight, which doesn't seems to be Harley Davidson's, but like I thought it was an aftermarket light, but this is the actual light that comes from the factory. And the front we have a digital LED light, which comes with a DRL setup as well. And you have a small fender here, and you have a huge 19-inch wheels here in the front. And the normal forks, I thought it would be a different upside down. It could have been an upside forks, but they made it very normal. And you have 340 mm of disc in the front, and machine cut alloys especially. And you know, like this is a signature of Harley Davidson they bring up, because machine cut alloys is their signature. Because later versions now you can see like Harley Davidson X440, they have a forks wheel as well. This is the machine cut alloys in the front and the back as well. And in the rear they have 16-inch wheels, which comes with a belt, not the normal chain. Since it has a belt, you don't feel an initial throttle. It is little bit slower, but when it takes off, it goes a rocket, and that is how it is. And in the rear as well, you can see the same machine cut alloys, which comes with a 240 mm disc in the rear. And you have a small fender here as well, which comes with a mudguard. And the indicator setup is provided in a way which makes you feel that you're riding an old classic Harley Davidson, because these are the vehicles which is made for Americans, which is not a daily run vehicle. But after a tired week, when you have to travel for a weekend, this really keeps your adrenaline rush that much high. And that is a sort of vehicle. The seat looks neat, very comfort for the person who drives. And you have a oil gauge here, and the oil tank is provided here. And it has another option also. When you keep your seats down, when you're sitting here, the oil caps really goes inside. Here you have twin cylinders, an air intake here, which have an air filter as well. And you can see a downpipe going there down. Since it is a 2-cylinder, you have a 2 exhaust. Let me show you how this exhaust sounds. That is a sound that it makes. So you can feel that 800cc, it is not a joke. And the twin cylinder, it really does its job. And the price that they offer, which is too expensive for the features that they give, because the reason why you have a very little tank, and it makes justice for the design, but a little bit of practicality is very less. Because here you can see a front, not a digital meter, it is just an analog meter in the front. So the odo is still an analog one. You have a very good analog and provides you some engine parameters, and that is it. And something is very odd, it could have been better for this price range. And the switches that they offered it is really like it doesn't surprise me, because indicators you have both the sides, and you have the hazard light as well, and the kill switch. And the kill switch with power start, it offers in a 2 switch. design, it is a typical cruiser, and in highways it doesn't make you tired. You can cruise it in a way, and there is a bit of vibration that feels, but you can cruise it in without any tired in 80s. So it does its job well, I would say. And the seating is also very comfort, and the driver really feels very comfort in the seats, and that is how it is made. 800cc, it doesn't surprise you because it gives a raw power, and the air intake that here it does its job in the right way. It takes the air and it goes inside the engine, the combustion happens and goes outside the exhaust. You can feel that. So 51 PS of power with 68 Newton meters of torque. The torque initially it's very less, and the mid-range it does very nice, and after 80 or 70 miles it gives a kind of adrenaline push from 20 to 60, and that is a sort of design that I've made. And the fueling is also high sort of fueling, and there is sort of practicality that is missing. Since it is Harley, yes, we can't expect practicality. And this guy, which only has 12.5 fuel capacity, and it does hardly around 8 to 9 kilometers per liter for a fuel efficiency, and that is a sort of power, and you pay for it. When power comes into picture, the expense that increases on, by the way. And the practicality that I said, the indicators, you can't see the indicators, like there is a indicator gauge that they have given separately, but you will not be able to see it. You might miss it at times. And in the rear, the safety lights, it is almost inbuilt in the indicators itself. When you turn on the indicators, a separate light comes up, and that is how it builds. And that is a sort of power, and power I'll show you, I'll discuss more when I'm driving it. Welcome back again, and you have seen a good walk around and a feature and specification discussion lately, and currently let's see how this bike feels when driving. So there are a lot of questions that to be discussed, and it's been a while that I've driven a bike that has huge number in cc, and I've driven 400 and 600 cc's, but it's been a long time that I'm driving a bike with huge number. And let us go with the sound, and that is the sound that you hear, and a good kickstart that gives, and the pulse that it holds. It is actually feeling very raw while driving. The Harley's Sportster in the global version, and we say it's Harley Iron 883, can be a good bike for many reasons. For one, it is not as powerful as many other beginner bikes, meaning you may not have a hard time braking. Braking is one of the hardest things for new riders to get used to it, because it is does holds a bite in the road, but if you are planning to brake, you have to do it in earlier actually, so you can make things much easier on yourself when starting out picking a less powerful bike. It's often hard for beginners to learn on bikes with high seats. Thankfully, the Harley Iron 883 features a low seat, which many beginners find much more comfortable. And since while some people consider the Harley as weight a bad thing, but heavier bikes often have better stability in sweeping bends as well, and as I said, it is having a really good bite in the curves as well. And only great thing about this bike, it includes its simplicity and low down torque in the initial stage. In the lower stage, I mean in the low range, it has a very low down torque, and the mid range it does a very good job, and in the high range above 4000 rpm, it holds around 68 newton meters of torque, and it has around 51.65 ps of power in the 6000 rpm, and that is actually a good job which Harley has maintained actually. And most beginners won't have a hard time figuring out the controls on Harley, because the indicators left has in the left side and the right has in the right side, and you have the kickstart button in the right, and the power switch as well, and hazard switch and lights, all these. It might feel a bit difficult for the beginners, and if you're considering Harley as a first bike, you might be sad to know it is almost has many disadvantages and advantages. As mentioned, like this bike's weight is a big problem for many people, and this weight makes the bike a bit hard to handle, especially for beginners. Heavier bikes are usually also less fuel efficient and have a harder time gaining acceleration as well. As said, this bike also has a very less fuel efficiency. I've been driving this vehicle for last 2-3 days, and I was able to get it only around 8 to 9 kilometers per liter. And another problem with the Harley is it is brakes, and its subpar brakes on the Harley make emergency braking difficult, and which could spell disaster in certain situations. And thankfully the bike's heaviness makes normal braking a bit easier, and shares a problem most Harleys in that you can drive it in the steering locked, and if you start driving without realizing your steering is locked in one direction, you could end up crashing on the side of the road. And if you do buy a Harley as your first bike, we suggesting to put a bit to have a visual remember to unlock your seating before standing up the bike, and it costs around 8 to 9 lakhs, and you're spending around so much for a bike. And what I would say is maintenance is definitely not that hard, and if you're already having a car or one or two garage that you maintain, and maintenance would be definitely an affordable side, because it holds around 10 to 15,000 kilometers a periodical, and it is on your pockets, I would say. And it does not mentioned like no one has complained that this has a huge mentionable complaints that was registered so lately. And that's it for this bike, and if you have really liked this video, do subscribe, do share, and don't forget to comment your feedbacks. That will definitely be improvising my videos in the next video. And until then, this is Nidhi signing off. Take care. Bye bye.